How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And you know what time it is. It is time for the joke of the day. If you're new to this channel, we do this 5 days out of the week. Maybe you had a long, maybe you had a stressful day, or maybe it was the market conditions. Well, you came to watch this video, plus hear one of my corny jokes. Here it comes. Why are the Irish so wealthy? Because their capital is always Dublin. Get it? Not too bad. But anyways, what we're going to be talking about today is OCGN. We had a lot of volatility that was happening inside of the market today. And I also just saw inside of the after hours, it is also having quite the run. We'll talk about it further inside of this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support, we want to know resistance, and those levels to look out for going into tomorrow. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information. We know already, depending on what the short volume ratio is looking like and how much shorts are vested inside of this play, it can have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to take a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what is the buying and as well as the selling behavior like on the institutional side and as well as on the retail side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be jumping into the final thoughts and going over some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for OCGN. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $9.15, being down 2.03%. On the low, it tested $8.31, and then on the high, testing $13.23. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 228.42 million shares, and for the average volume over 10 trading days being at 50.756 million shares. So one thing that we could see right away, we had well above the average when it came to volume, and it's part of the reasons why we ended up seeing highs of $13.23. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a 1-year daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is right around 58.68. And then when we take a look at the moving averages on our chart, we have strength above all of them, which is the 100-day, the 200-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. So what I want to see a continuation of is actually the 21-day EMA being support at $8.29. Keep in mind, as far as for the low of the day, we tested $8.31. So with that said, if we have a pullback going into tomorrow, we want to see some strength. Of course, the next level that I'd want to see hold up if we pull back further would be right here at this $8 level. When we had a pullback not too long ago, and this was back on the 22nd, you can see we got down to here as low as getting into this $7.70 range. So there is a possibility this could happen sometime this week, but for the most part, we want to see OCGN hold up 8. As far as for the spike that we had at $13.23, this was definitely a big time move. I know a lot of traders were taking profits and so forth, and then also we ended up having the news that was dropped, and then we ended up having halts, and this is part of the reasons why you see this big red candle due to the sell-offs and so on. So as far as what's going to be happening, there's going to be a lot of volatility, and I just want to make sure you guys are prepared for that. But for the most part, let's see how OCGN performs going into tomorrow. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for OCGN. So as we scroll down further on the page, you can see for recent new positions, which is in green, we have October the 26th from the filing, having BlackRock Advantage Small Cap Core Fund institutional shares purchasing just over 355,000. So that is definitely good to see. And then when we see also for Fidelity Small Cap Enhanced Index Fund purchasing just over 58,000 shares as well. And one thing that we also want to actually take a look at here, we could see a well-known short seller by Cutler Group going in hedging positions with calls and puts as well. Now let's take a look at the short interest information. We could see the dark pool short volume ratios at 58.56%, and then for the dark pool short volume being just over 8.5 million shares. Scrolling down further, the short shares availability is at 60,000, updated 24 minutes ago, and the short borrow fee rate is at 2.19%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for the close for Monday, which is October the 25th, it was at 58.56, up from what we saw on the Friday. And of course, no surprises there. So what this tells us, OCGN does continue to have short squeeze potential. So this is why you want to make sure you keep your eyes on this play, because it could be extremely volatile. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for OCGN. So we could see here on the inflow, it was 570, and then on the outflow, it was 569. On the large, we had 4.83. On the medium, we had 380. And then on the small, it was 185. Keep in mind, this is in the millions. When we see the outflow side, on the large, it was 3.81. And then on the medium, it was 385. And then on the small, it was 180. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see looking like two big green candles for today of October the 26th being 1,025.64. So one thing that is very clear, institutions were loading up on shares. And we also did see there was a good amount of buying and as well as selling on the retail side. And as far as for the medium, we had a lot more outflows. So one thing that I do know for a fact, when we ended up having a dip on the day, so after all those numerous halts and in that news coming out, institutions made sure they had the opportunity to load up on shares. I know many of you also loaded up as well, because when we take into consideration what that news was, it wasn't the most clear, but at the same time, it was an opportunity if you were looking to get into this position. So now let's jump into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for OCGN, we definitely did have a roller coaster ride inside of the market. And this is why I say when it comes to these plays, you got to be prepared for the volatility. When we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, this play does continue to have short squeeze potential. So when you are seeing the price action and if you are planning to trade off of it, this can be advantageous to you. As far as for the numerous halts and what was happening, I could see there was a lot of clear manipulation. We also did have well above average volume and also had a lot of strong inflows. So as far as how the day turned out, this is part of the reasons why you want to make sure you're doing your homework and you're doing your due diligence and you have high conviction. This is part of the reasons why I did not sell any shares whatsoever. I held on to them because I was saying, hey, there's a good chance we should be able to get this EUL. And if who did actually come out saying, well, you know what, we need further information, I'm willing to wait another week. I know for many people you did have options, and I'm going to tell you right now, you should have been making some big time profits on those, and you should have protected those profits as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It'll be very interesting to see what OCGN does tomorrow, and of course I'll be keeping you guys inside of the loop.